Friends, greetings. Today we are again face to face with each other. Today's topic is something different. Different in terms of seriousness, in terms of intensity, in terms of emergency, in terms of requirement or need to solve it. Today we are going to discuss a problem that is around us, inside us, outside us, with us, without us. And you can take a guess what I'm talking about. But the problem is really serious, really worrisome. And the problem is not only with me, with you, or the people around us or around you, but it is across the world. Every country in the world is facing this problem. We are living in a state of fear. We are living in a state of uncertainty. We do not know which direction we are leading ourselves to or which direction we are traveling towards. But this kind of situation can't remain for long. We need to have a solution, and the solution is required urgently. I hope you have a guess what we are talking about or what I'm going to talk about. But before I start my journey for this purpose of discussion today, I will just request you to wait till the end, watch it till the end. And one more request is that please share, like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Alok Kumar India. It is all the more necessary to just help me or get motivated to discuss with you all many and more issues like this. Yes, I hope you guessed it right. Today we are going to have a discussion on coronavirus or COVID-19. Coronavirus, story of every house, every human, every hour across the world. We are having coronavirus around us, and every second, every moment, whether you are eating, drinking, sleeping, sitting, working, chatting, taking rest, whatever. Almost every time, everywhere, corona, corona, and corona. Corona appears to be a romantic song that we are forced to sing it every moment. One needs to be either extremely romantic or fearful to be mentioned or remembered every second or every hour by every house, every human living in the house. Every moment appears uncertain. I hope it is correct. You will agree with me. Either it is romantic or you are fearful of something. Only then, out of fear or out of love, you take the name of something or somebody. And the same we can say about coronavirus today. The way we are faced against corona or COVID-19, nothing looks certain. Everything looks fluid. We are in the midst of a crisis we are unable to solve. And still, we need to have a solution because the humankind or the mankind has to travel centuries and centuries forward, the way we have been traveling or coming over centuries behind. Today's my discussion is going to be on corona. What is the story around it? What is the story about it? What we have done so far? What we should be doing so far in future? How do we tackle it? How do we come over it? How do we be victorious about it? And how can we take everyone out of this problem? What we are facing today, almost all every country in the world is having corona at its doorstep. Not only country, society, not only society, every house, not only house, every individual or every person is having corona standing against each one of us. Let us start our journey and let us start our discussion. Every human house hour are afflicted these days, fearing every moment of life. Fear or enemy is known. We know who is the enemy or what fear we are having. But invisible, we can't see it, and not knowing at all how to fight this enemy or how to fight this fear. Any country or society, if it has three things: customs, faith, and systems, or custom, faith, and system. You can fight any crisis. You can come over any crisis of your existence. And that is why these three things are most important. The centuries behind you, the kind of custom, faith, and system that you may have created or your society or your country may have created will help you, will give you ideas and inspiration to fight the existing problems of existence. And the same is true for today also. If we have so far developed good custom, good faith, and good system, definitely we will come out of it, or we will come out of the problem or the tension or the issue called corona. So let us go forward. What is the story about it? How do we narrate or how do we introduce coronavirus or COVID-19 originated from a congested meat market in Wuhan, capital of Hubei Province in China, around the last week of December 2019 or first week of January 2020. Actually, it surfaced much earlier, as reported by medical practitioners or professionals working in the government hospital at Wuhan. We know the story about two doctors or two medical professionals who found it out. And when they reported it to the higher ups, they couldn't believe. The higher ups did not believe. The government did not believe. Ultimately, they were ostracized, or nobody was believing them. And the government or the authorities or the senior professionals, medical professionals, they were just taking it as one of the other flus or viruses or pneumonia or something like that, cough and cold and fever, that's all, ordinary things. But the message given by these two doctors proved true, and it really is a problem, bigger problem, or rather biggest problem of the century or the decade also. And the Chinese government took it lightly, underplayed its symptoms and speed to spread. By third week of January 2020, it became a serious threat, and by January 2020 end, it caused catastrophic effects, killing thousands in China. By February 2020 end, it has spread to other countries and started having casualties in huge numbers, in thousands, in other countries of the world also. On 11th March 2020, WHO, World Health Organization, declared it a pandemic and cautioned all countries to beware and prepare for a fight with an enemy not seen, heard, or experienced so far. Because nobody was having any idea. Even today also nobody is having any idea. How does it spread? What are its symptoms? Symptomatic, asymptomatic, all kind of people, touch, no touch, contact, no contact. It is coming from anywhere or everywhere, in all directions. And that's why even today also we are uncertain. We are not certain about its origination and its solution also, or how do we handle it also. In my previous video upload on 11th June 2020 on YouTube, Alok Kumar India channel, I have discussed in detail about its origin and cause of a spread from China and around the world or across the world. Now the statistics, it is really worrisome, and it's growing in numbers. It is growing in numbers, it is growing in a strength, it appears. The current statistics of coronavirus is extremely worrisome. More than 12 million confirmed cases, close to 700,000 deaths, and altogether 215 countries are affected. If we talk about India, around 8 lakh cases are in India with around 23,000 dead. And the way we are progressing, the way India is progressing in terms of its data, statistics, numbers, we have reached a third, and we may be taking over Brazil, the other two countries. Brazil is at second and USA is at first. Maybe we'll be taking Brazil by the end of this month, and maybe in a couple of months we will be number one in the world. No vaccine, no medicine, no antidote, no treatment is found so far. And that is why we are groping in the dark. Top 5 affected countries are USA, Brazil, India, Russia, and UK. WHO keeps on reminding about its second wave, third wave, fourth wave, etc. at regular intervals, and is not very sure about its disappearance or its solution tackling. The immediate future scenario is not very promising. Apart from symptomatic cases, recently asymptomatic cases are also being reported on a higher scale, very big scale. China continues to be enigmatic about its origin, spread, and casualties inside China. It doesn't share too much of information about coronavirus or what happened actually, what did happen in China actually. It does not support the initiative of countries around the world, across the world, to identify the real cause of this pandemic. Neither it accepts its destructive role in spreading this pandemic in the world, riding its trade relationships with other countries because of its trade positive or surplus trade relationships with other countries, because of it being the manufacturing hub in the world. It looks at other countries like taken for granted. And that's why other countries are asking China to share the information. How did it happen? How did it spread to other countries? China is very, very reclusive about it. It doesn't share any information or any kind of information regarding coronavirus. National economies of various countries are biting dust, turning negative beyond repair. Because of corona and corona-related actions the governments have taken across the world, the national economies or the economies of various countries are in negative. Not only in negative, they are in recession. Not only in recession, The IMF, International Monetary Fund, has already recommended or suggested that financial year 2020-2021 will be a year of contraction for the world economy. World economy may contract by 3 to 5%. And likewise for India also, it has predicted that India's economy or Indian economy may contract by 5 to 7%. But some of the other economists nationally, within India and outside, they are predicting that Indian economy may contract between 15% to 25%, turning majority of the population not only poor but destitute, losing income, losing comfort of life, and losing living standards also. This is the story about coronavirus in short. If we want to spend time more, we can discuss more, but let us move forward. What are the symptoms associated with coronavirus, or what kind of symptoms have been circulated by WHO? WHO means the World Health Organization. WHO on last Tuesday, that means 4-5 days back, has acknowledged the evidence emerging of the airborne nature or airborne spread of coronavirus pandemic. That means it spreads through air transmission also. COVID-19 affects different people in different ways. Most infected people will develop mild to moderate illness and recover without hospitalization. Most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, cold, and tiredness. Less common symptoms are aches, pains, sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, headache, loss of taste or smell, a rash on skin, and discoloration of fingers and toes. Serious symptoms: difficulty in breathing, shortness of breath, chest pain or pressure, loss of speech or loss of movement. Seek immediate help, medical attention if you have serious symptoms of coronavirus. Always call before visiting your doctor or health facility so that they have arrangements for you, or you don't have to wait too long to get medical attention. People with mild symptoms who are otherwise healthy should manage their symptoms at home. On average, it takes 5 to 6 days from when someone is infected with the virus for symptoms to show. However, it can take up to 14 days. Normally, that is why quarantine period has been suggested or recommended between 7 days to 14 days, depending upon the symptoms you are having. But if you have serious symptoms of coronavirus, it is better to get medical attention immediately, urgently. Now, looking at these two things, and for the last 5-6 months, whatever we have experienced, what has been the handling mechanism by various countries? So we should throw some light on that also. What did countries do in terms of handling coronavirus? Taking a cue from China, almost all countries did impose lockdown, closing all social or economic activities. China is a restricted communist government with minimum freedom to its citizens, but the same is not true for other countries. China happens to be undemocratic country. It doesn't provide too much of freedom, or it doesn't have any democratic principles inside its borders or territories, and that is why people have very limited freedom or no freedom at all. They just can survive, they can have their incomes, they can have their livelihoods, and just live like a citizen you are in China. One size fits all doesn't work everywhere. Free societies will have more problems than solutions during lockdown. Free societies means they have different cultures, different characters, different kind of expectations, and different lifestyles. So lockdown may not be successful for societies which are free or which are having democratic setup or some other setup other than communist or communism. Now, important treatment mechanisms like supply of PPE kits, personal protection equipment kits, various testing kits, quarantine, isolation modules, contact tracing, plasma therapy, awareness campaigns have also been adopted. Wearing masks, physical or social distancing, and washing hands frequently were suggested as preventive care. Stay home, stay safe message was widely promoted and circulated among citizens and residents. Medicines of all kinds have been explored and tried. Till a sure vaccine is invented or found out, this approach will continue to cure patients of this pandemic because there is no other option. You need to try, keep on trying, and do whatever medicines are available so far with you, you have to just employ them and keep your people treated out of coronavirus. Countries that took this pandemic lightly are at the most receiving end and suffering badly in terms of a spread and deaths, causing total disarray that we can experience. Some 10, 12 or 15 countries have suffered so badly. US, Brazil, Spain, Italy, UK, Iran, even China, India also. We have around 25,000 in numbers now. Some other countries also in the world. They have taken it lightly and they are suffering badly. WHO has been issuing bulletins and warning messages or warnings regarding its trend and a trajectory at regular intervals, updating all concerned and always trying to beware all the countries, all the people, all residents and citizens of the country, so that nobody is caught sleeping or caught off guard or unprotected. These kind of handling mechanisms have been tried by various countries across the world. Now let us go or move forward and discuss about the mistakes or blunders that countries did in terms of while handling or tackling coronavirus. It is my opinion that these kind of blunders could have been avoided by countries, but whatever has happened, happened. Now we should be on course to achieving victory over coronavirus. We should be successful in tackling corona whatever way, come what may. What were those blunders that countries or societies did make or committed? India imposed sudden overnight lockdown without giving any time for preparation. Lockdown was thought to ensure time and resources to control spread of coronavirus by arranging PPE kits for medical professionals, testing kits for screening of cases, and quarantine for suspected cases. Instead, nothing like this happened. Even when lockdown was implemented, nothing like this happened, and for almost 2 months, the government and the people or the hospitals or the stakeholders involved in terms of tackling coronavirus in India, they were looking for ways and means to fight with this disease. There was no sure shot or no concrete measures adopted. Sudden lockdown created destructible living conditions for 137 crore Indians, especially workers and laborers, killing roughly 1,000 of them due to lockdown-related lives and livelihood issues or crisis. Besides, lockdown was imposed when it was not required, and now when it is required, the government is not in a position to announce it. The kind of statistics, the kind of daily figures or data are coming in terms of corona-affected cases. Lockdown, if at all, was required, it is required now, but the government is not in a position to impose lockdown. It can't afford it simply. Let us understand lockdown by this example. I have an example to compare lockdown, how we can compare or how we can experience lockdown, in what way it reflects, or in what way we can understand it easily. Forest, sanctuary and zoo have different living arrangements. We know forest, we know sanctuary, and we know zoo. Forest is natural, sanctuary is man-made, zoo is again more man-made, or we can say zoo is a kind of restricted environment. Forest, sanctuary and zoo have different living arrangements for animals and birds. Forest is natural, sanctuary is man-made, zoo is equivalent to lockdown. Animals feel at home in forest most and bit lesser in sanctuary, the least in zoo because it has lockdown conditions. All the birds and animals in a zoo are living in cages. They don't have freedom to find their food. They don't have freedom to do their daily chores on their own. Everything is provided by the authorities in the zoo, inside zoo, and whatever food or whatever comfort or whatever needs they have on daily basis, they cannot find. Everything is provided. Now, the least in zoo, that is lockdown, as all activities are restricted. There is no freedom at all. They don't have a freedom to find or arrange their food and other daily needs. Animals are provided everything in zoo by authorities for their survival or living. Similarly, lockdown imposed by government provides circumstances for the citizens and residents to have limited freedom or no freedom at all in terms of their lives and livelihoods. They can't move out, they can't do any work, they can't earn their livelihoods. Government authorities must have provided for food and other daily needs, whosoever needed it in India, but it didn't happen. Except Indian government, almost all governments in foreign countries did provide all this to their citizens and residents, understanding the situation and understanding the crisis being faced by the citizens and residents. But Indian government did not do anything like that. Some cash transfers were also done. Mostly cash transfers were done so that people can find their own things. Whatever they like, they can go and buy and have their needs met. But nothing like this happened in India. Closure of shops and business establishments across the country has drained the income of public, causing overall extreme financial distress. Because when you close the establishments or shops, you are not providing any income opportunities or any livelihood opportunities for your citizens and residents. Closure of essential services like government offices, administration, schools, colleges, transport services, religious places, etc. is really unfortunate. Government helplessness is inexplicable. Government was helpless not only in its decision, but in its action also, in its implementation also. Alternate arrangements or continuous availability of these services must have been ensured or must be ensured without any breakup for or without any full stop or comma for convenience of public. All this happened because no importance is attached to public safety or security. In India, we must be experiencing, or you will agree with me, that no importance is attached to public safety and security. In public places, you will see this accident or that accident happens every month, every year, every moment. And still, instead of doing anything or taking any corrective action, the government doesn't do anything, and what happens? It keeps on repeating. These kind of incidents or accidents keep happening, and people get dying. People go dying and dying also. Salaries to ministers, MPs, MLAs, and government staff belonging to central and state governments for a lockdown period should not have been paid using force majeure conditions. Or they should have been asked to daily report to duty. Corona came out of nowhere. Nobody did have any control over it. And when lockdown was implemented, it was not the fault, or even if now if it is implemented, it will not be the fault of the government. Either you don't pay any salary because nobody is working under force majeure conditions, or you must ask your employees to report to duty on daily basis. Can an army or police personnel ask for leave or absence during wartime or emergency, citing family reasons or emergency reasons? Will the government accept his or her request for leave or absence from duty? It has this paying salary without any work has created a very wrong, extremely wrong, bad precedent in the country for years to come. This has created a wrong precedent. Instead of not paying salary, or instead of not asking the employees to come on duty, they kept on paying salaries, and at the other hand, laborers and workers and other shops and establishments, they were dying with hunger, dying with no money, dying with no food, dying on roads and everywhere. Religious places closed during lockdown should have been used as camping, isolation, or quarantine places for suspected cases. This would have ensured both full godly blessings and perfect medical treatment. This was also not tried. A sectarian and religious color was sponsored and painted by blaming members of a specific religion, whereas violations were committed by almost many or across many religions in different religious, in the name of different religious gatherings. No proper flow chart was prepared for use and shared with concerned departments, hospitals, and professionals for ensuring control of the pandemic. No flow chart by the government or by the medical team or the medical team controlling the disease or pandemic of coronavirus, the ICMR. No flow chart came into open, like how the treatment is being ensured, how the confirmed cases are being tackled, what hospitals need to do, what medical team need to do, what medical professionals need to do, what should be done for the quarantine cases, what should be done for the isolation cases, what should be done for the contact tracing, what kind of preventive care or mechanisms should work so that this flow chart rather would have taken care of all these requirements. In life insurance, I hope each one of us understands life insurance. In life insurance, there is a concept called HLV. HLV means human life value. Human life value acts behind the decision of an individual to go for an insurance cover or for the amount of an insurance cover, depending upon his income, depending upon his expenses, depending upon his longevity, and depending upon his length of service left in future. the human life value is calculated, and accordingly the insurance cover is sought or is suggested for an individual or a family. The concept called HLV acts behind buying insurance cover for an individual. HLV or human life value concept should have been brought into play, measuring likely loss to families and GDP due to probable corona deaths across the country and accordingly preparing to counter this pandemic. This kind of blunders, I think, have been committed not only by the Indian government or the Indian society across the world, by almost all countries or each country, every country. Now, what are the ways out? If we discuss everything but we don't discuss way out or how to tackle or how to come out victorious or how to come out winner over corona, then the discussion is half or is incomplete. It doesn't take us to the logical conclusion. Let us have a discussion on way out also or ways out also. Life, what is the purpose of life? Life is for living. Life is for enjoying. Life is for living, enjoying and doing the work or doing your work, meeting your liabilities, enjoying the good things, enjoying the bad things, everything. The life is for living. Can you deny or can one deny it the opportunity to live or of living? Lives and livelihoods are most important. Governments should not allow or create a situation wherein people feel living as dead. Governments or societies or countries should not create a situation or circumstance where the people living start experiencing their life as if they are living as dead. That means I am alive, I am a vegetating creature, just moving here and there. I am a living creature, but I am almost as good as dead. Till one is alive, one's needs and liabilities will keep one pressurized to do something for survival and income. Hence, activities are always important on the part of humans or mankind. Lockdown is always repulsive. Open up. Open up means to keep everything open. Let human beings perform. Let human beings enjoy. Let human beings work. Let human beings move around. To open up is always the best option at any cost. Being natural is the first step forward. That is why it is said, be natural, buy natural. Being natural is the first step forward. Drink maximum natural clean water. Don't use ACs, freezers, air conditioners or air conditioning environment, freezers, etc. Meaning that using less and less of artificial inputs or artificial support systems. Immunity boosting food items like garlic, turmeric, ginger, papaya, green tea, spinach, broccoli, banana, citrus fruits, etc. should be encouraged to consume apart from routine staple items or food items. Apart from staple food items, whatever you are taking on routinely basis daily, add these components urgently, immediately, in good numbers or in good quantity also. Government and private offices must function in full capacity by asking employees to join duties in 2 separate shifts. 50% should be asked or should report in forenoon hours, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and the balance 50% in the afternoon hours, that means between 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. It will ensure physical and or social distancing also, and you will have 100% contribution from the employees for the maximum success or maximum support to the government or government's decisions and actions. Same approach should be for shops and business establishments. Essential ones should be allowed to open from morning till evening. Academic studies in schools, colleges should be conducted centrally on all India basis, as covered in my previous upload on YouTube on 30th June 2020. In my upload on 30th June 2020, I had discussed about conduct of schools and colleges for successful running of academic classes or calendar year, academic calendar, so that no student misses any class, any hour, any subject. Social events like marriage and religious ones or whatever on similar lines should be allowed with restrictions. People aged 65 years and above, having any comorbidity conditions, people aged 65 years and above, having any comorbidity conditions and living alone, that means these 3 kinds of people should be allowed restricted movements outside their places of residence. Wearing masks, physical distancing, social distancing, and washing hands should be part of a massive social campaign involving all media and government agencies, wings and departments, not only government or public sector, but private sector, everywhere. All all sectoral wings, agencies or departments. Medical professionals, paramedics, volunteers and activists, etc. must be provided all safety and protection kits and all other necessary items on time, so that they are able to take care of not only themselves, they have full confidence in themselves, and with full confidence they take care of the patients also, or the pandemic confirmed cases also. Fear mongering and hate feelings must not be allowed to take roots under any circumstances. Nobody should be allowed to do this. Public transportation, the way lockdown has drained income of the people, the way lockdown has drained income not only of people, private people, public people, even governments also, with lesser and lesser income or with loss of income, whatever savings they have or whatever minimum amount or money they have been left with, they can make use of in the maximum possible manner or potential. Public transportation, intra-city, intercity, intrastate, interstate should be allowed to function due to huge loss of income for the common public due to lockdown and lockdown related conditions post coronavirus. Economic activities ensuring income for individuals and families should be based on respective urban and rural regions involving local factors. In addition to global and national economies, local economy needs to be given major push, major focus now. We are always talking about global economy. We are always talking about national economy, or rather we are too much possessed about global and national economy, but we are not so serious about the local economy. Now, local economy should be given a new push, new focus, depending upon what kind of activities can generate income for the people living in that local economy. GST, or Goods and Services Tax Act, needs urgent and immediate restructuring to help economy be back on track and gain traction. The present or the current nature or a structure of GST Act is not going to do any service or help to the Indian economy. It will be a standstill, it is a standstill, and it will remain a standstill if the current GST is continuing. You need to have course correction so far as GST is concerned. And GST needs to be corrected immediately, urgently. NPR, I hope you know what is NPR. NPR means National Population Register. National Population Register related census exercise was to start from 1st April 2020, but it did not start due to lockdown, depriving government an important national exercise. Government should have started this NPR exercise for the benefit of all concerned. It would have given government much needed access to every household in the country. Not only access, it would have enabled or empowered or armed government with too much of information and too much of resources in spreading awareness, messages or campaigns about isolation, quarantine, contact tracing, and treatment or general preventive care about coronavirus. This exercise would have enabled the government in many corona-related activities, as just told now, aimed at controlling its tide and ensuring testing and awareness campaigns. Many other things also, just now I told you. Being predominantly Hindu in core, Vastu, culture and behavior. As a country, India or Bharat, whatever we call it, it is predominantly Hindu in core, Vastu, culture and behavior. Alternative control mechanism by organizing pujas, havans, prabhat fairies, Sarva Dharma Sabhas, etc. should have been arranged or should be arranged if it is not done so far. It will help clear the negativity from social, emotional, financial atmosphere around us. It will create an atmosphere of positivity around us, inside our homes, inside societies across the country. Coronavirus needs to be tackled socially, emotionally, medically, financially in all possible ways. You can't expect yourself to handle or tackle corona only on the basis of medical equipments or medical supports or medical empowerment. You need to tackle coronavirus socially, emotionally, medically, and financially, everything. Now, India is the mother of all civilizations. I hope you agree. The kind of culture we have, the kind of centuries or the kind of strong precedents we have, the kind of strong histories we have, the kind of very strong, mankind-related systems we have, customs we have, faiths we have. India is the mother of all civilizations. I am forced to say again and again, India is a special and unique country, is a great country. Since existence, it has the special quality and of accepting. It has the special quality of accepting and digesting negatives as well as positives. You know why? We may be called Hindu by religion now, maybe for the last 100, 200 or 400 or 500 years or 5 or 10 centuries, but ultimately our religion or our following is called Sanatan. Sanatan means one who is or which is perennial, unending, which is constant, which is continuous, which is non-ending. If you take that into mind, since its existence, India has the special quality of accepting and digesting negatives as well as positives. It can be said to be a dumping and breeding yard both for good and bad things. In India, we have everything in plenty. Good things also, bad things also. And it will continue to be like this because we are a civilization of unparalleled number of years behind us. Its core and Vastu ensures this quality. The core, the very core of India, the very Vastu of India ensures this quality. That's why the Indian civilization is very rich and has survived every sinister attacks against its culture and character. Many people have come, many foreign rulers came. They did everything. They tried to destroy the core and Vastu of this country. They were not successful, and India has survived successfully so far. And now is the time for India to resurface, re-emerge, and control the world also. This special quality makes it possible for coronavirus to be alive and present in India for longer than expected. That is why we should be very wary about coronavirus, because this quality or this character or this culture or this core or this Vastu of India will keep coronavirus alive, will keep coronavirus present in our atmosphere more longer than expected. Hence, it needs a focused approach, centralized approach, a very hard-handed approach, so that we are able to tackle, we are able to control not only its spread, but we are able to root it out successfully for the entire country, and maybe, must be rather, for the entire world also. We are able to send a message across to the world, to all the countries in the world, that not only that India can tackle it successfully, it can help the world also tackle successfully coronavirus. Now, coronavirus conditions should bring about positive changes in our lives and living patterns, provided we understand its messages and follow them accordingly. Almighty or the nature has descended coronavirus on us. We do not know the purpose now, but maybe in future we will understand why did it come. And when we understand why did it come, by the time it will be too late, so that it is better for us to understand it now, understand it well, change our courses, change our way of doing things and in our lives and living patterns, and then we should follow our lives accordingly, so that we are winning, we are the winners, and we are successful in tackling this pandemic, in tackling this problem or crisis of centuries that is staring us in our face as a society, as a world together. Thank you, friends. This was all that I wanted to discuss with you in terms of coronavirus. This is all the story that I had to offer you today. I hope you enjoyed. Last but not the least, please share, like and subscribe my YouTube channel, Alok Kumar India, and share this video or share this upload with all of your near and dear ones. Thank you, friends. All the best. Have a great future ahead.